Members of the Olakwa Eche Special Squad, a local vigilante group in Eche local government area of Rivers State, have apprehended one Ihanyi Asobironwu who allegedly confessed to being hired by criminals to carry out killings and supply human parts for ritual purposes. In a video obtained by newsmen, Asobironwu is seen confessing in the Eche language during his interrogation. Reports indicate he was caught after he failed attempts to murder a woman, Vicky Nweke. He reportedly abducted and strangled her until she lost consciousness, then left to retrieve a machete to finish the act. However, Nweke regained consciousness and escaped. Kingsley Anyabo, chairman of the Amakumpa Community Caretaker Development Committee, confirmed the arrest. He said Nweke later provided vital information that led to the suspect's capture by the local security team. Anyamo urged the police and state authorities to conduct a thorough investigation to uncover those behind the act. Meanwhile, in an interview with our correspondent Praise Alawuru, the police public relations officer SP Grace Iringekoko confirmed that Asobironwu is currently in police custody. She stated that the investigations are ongoing to determine the full extent of his activities and to identify other individuals connected to the case. SP Iringekoko also used the opportunity to call on the public to remain vigilant and proactive in supporting security agencies. She assured that the command will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that everyone involved in such heinous crimes is brought to justice. High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has reserved sentencing in the case of Tombari Ede Taol, who was convicted for the rape and murder of 9-year-old Idebari Litia Gonis in Bori, Kana local government area of Rivers State. Tombari was found guilty on December 17, 2024 for murder, unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor and sexual exploitation. However, sentencing was delayed as the court noted that he was under 14 years old at the time of the crime. The court has ordered a medical evaluation to assess his mental state before passing judgment. During proceedings, the convict's lawyer, Ignatius Ehesiaba, argued that based on the administration of criminal justice law, Tombari should be considered for psychiatric treatment or rehabilitation, citing a report that diagnosed him with schizophrenia. But prosecuting counsel Anya Adeye Orugbani pushed for life imprisonment, insisting the offense was too grave and the convict remains a danger to society. Justice Margaret Opara, who described the case as horrific, adjourned sentencing to July 30, 2025. People's Democratic Party Rivers State has in strong terms debunked the claims that the party has commenced the sale of forms for chairmanship and councillorship elections across the 23 local government areas of the state. The party described the publication making the rounds on social media as baseless and untrue. In a statement made available to newsmen, the state PDP Publicity Secretary Dr. Kenneth Yowika refuted the claim. Yowika urged members of the PDP to disregard the claim, describing it as a rumor. He noted that official communication regarding the sale of forms will be disclosed through the appropriate channels. Director General of the Aswe and Ogie Campaign Council, Matthew Idiori Yekwemem, on Thursday resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party. His resignation was contained in a letter dated July 17, 2025 and addressed to the chairman of the PDP Ward 5 Ikpoba Okia local government area, Edo State, Andrew Esemwede. Idiori Yekwemem cited recent developments within the party at both the state and national levels as a reason for his decision. He added that his decision was not driven by anger or haste, but by reflection and a commitment to his personal values. Western Nigeria Security Network, codenamed Amotekun Corps in Ondo State, has foiled 5 kidnap attempts in 2 weeks in the state. The state commander Amotekun Corps, Mr. Adetunji Adeleye, disclosed this in Akure while addressing newsmen. Adeleye said no ransom was paid in the 5 cases, while the latest attempts took place on Monday when a chief in a community close to Akure was kidnapped. He explained that the distress line was contacted and with the joint efforts of the local hunters and Amotekun Corps personnel, the kidnappers were pursued overnight. The commander assured that the Amotekun Corps was prepared to collaborate with other security agencies to ensure the sustenance of the peaceful atmosphere currently enjoyed in the state. Adeleye also said farmers and herders clashes in the state had reduced drastically and urged on the residents to support the Corps with timely information. Nigerian Medical Association Ekiti State Branch has threatened to shut down all government health facilities in the state if the federal government fails to heed its national body's demands for withdrawal of the unfavorable allowances introduced for doctors. NMA Ekiti State Chairman Dr. Ife Dayo Oreyemi said in a chat with journalists in Ado Ekiti on Thursday that the state branch is fully ready to join the proposed industrial action that would be called by the national body after the expiration of the 21-day ultimatum. NMA's national body had issued a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government to withdraw a circular released through the National Salary, Income and Wages Commission on June 27, 2025, particularly on the supposed upward review of allowances. NMA had described the circular as an obnoxious and insensitively provocative circular. Oreyemi said that the circular was a flagrant contravention of the previous collective bargaining agreements that emphasized the existence of relativity in the remuneration of doctors with other healthcare workers. Oreyemi, who said that Nigerian doctors were among the best physicians and surgeons anywhere in the world, charged Nigerian leaders and politicians to endeavor to invest in the country's health sector as done in countries where they always run to for medical assistance. Osun State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of a 39-year-old man, Oluwatomi Oliyede, for allegedly assaulting his wife, Odunayo Oliyede. According to the police, Oluwatomi allegedly beat his wife to the point of causing serious injury after she demanded financial support for their children. According to police reports, the incident occurred on Wednesday, July 9, 2025 at their residence in the capital area of Osogbo, Osun State. The suspect, an indigene of Abeokuta, Ogun State, fled the scene after the attack but was apprehended on Tuesday, July 15 and detained at the Dada Estate Police Station. Speaking to journalists, the victim, 32-year-old Odunayo Oliyede, a fashion designer and indigene of Oka Akoko, Ondo State, revealed she had been in a relationship with Oluwatomi since 2019 without a formal marriage ceremony. The mother of two alleged that the assault followed her repeated pleas for her husband to contribute financially to the upbringing of their two sons, aged 5 and 3 years, while revealing alleged past domestic abuses, which included being beaten while pregnant with their first child. The victim added that he also beat his previous wives, which she found out they had already started living together. Police spokesperson SP Abiodun Ojelabi confirmed the arrest, stating the suspect is in custody and will be charged to court after investigations are concluded. Kano State Police Command has arrested 11 students of government boarding secondary school, Bichi, in connection with the killing of 2 fellow students. The spokesperson for the command, Abdullahi Haruna, confirmed the arrest in a message to newsmen on Thursday. Haruna said the students were being interrogated to determine their level of involvement in the incident. He promised that the police would do everything possible to solve the students' murders and prosecute all involved. The State Commissioner for Education, Dr. Ali Haruna Makoda, had on Wednesday ordered a full investigation into the deaths. The directive was given through the ministry's permanent secretary, Bashir Baba Muhammad, during a visit to the school on Wednesday. The deceased students, Hamza Idris Tofawa and Umar Yusuf Dungurawa, were allegedly attacked by colleagues using local metal objects known as gwale gwale. Sokoto State Police Command has arrested a notorious bandit and recovered an AK-49 rifle along with live ammunition during a coordinated intelligence-led operation. The arrest, which took place on Saturday, July 13, 2025, was carried out by operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit following a credible tip-off. The suspect, identified as Buba Magaji, a resident of Julikol village in Selami local government area, was apprehended for his alleged ties to the dreaded Lakurawa bandit syndicate. The police public relations officer, DSP Ahmad Rufai, in a statement made available to newsmen on Thursday, stated Magaji is believed to be a key associate of a gang which has been responsible for a spate of criminal attacks across several local government areas, including Silami, Wamako, Benji, and Yabo. The statement said the Commissioner of Police, Sokoto State Command, commended the swift response of his operatives and the valuable cooperation of local residents who provided actionable intelligence. The Sokoto Police Command urged the residents to remain vigilant and will continue to provide timely information to support security efforts across the state. The Resident Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Sokoto State, Mr. Umar Yusuf Garba, on Wednesday, paid a courtesy visit to the Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Musa, as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen institutional synergy for credible elections. The visit, which took place at the Police Command headquarters in Sokoto, underscored the importance of sustained collaboration between electoral and security agencies in delivering peaceful and transparent polls. In a statement issued by the police public relations officer, DSP Ahmad Rufai, on Thursday, Garba praised the Sokoto Police Command for its consistent support in maintaining peace and security, particularly during election period. Responding, Musa reaffirmed the command's readiness to support INEC's operations. He assured that the police will continue to provide robust security for electoral officers, materials and voters before, during and after elections. The meeting ended with goodwill exchanges and a symbolic group photograph reflecting the shared resolve of both institutions to safeguard democracy through effective collaboration and security preparedness. Professor La Patricia Manko, acting Vice Chancellor of Yakubu Gowon University, former University of Abuja, had reacted to the allegation of land grabbing leveled against the institution by FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. In an interview with Newsbend in Abuja, Manko said that the 11,000 hectares of land is a legacy asset given to the institution by the federal government. While acknowledging Wike and as FCT Minister, the VC said university land can never be too much and the institution has plethora of use for the property. Recall that at the inauguration of Access Road to Giri District in FCT on June 30, Wike had alleged that the university grabbed 11,000 hectares of land. Manko, however, said that the 11,000 hectares of land was legitimately given to the institution by the federal government and the controversy is already being handled. She said the university has plans for the use of the expanse of land ranging from agriculture, tourism, research centers, quarters for members of staff and student hostels, among others. The acting VC said due to lack of funds to finance some of the projects, the institution has entered into some memorandum of understanding for the development. She noted that the current staff headquarters of the institution are temporarily built on plots of land given to the university by the military and there are plans to construct permanent structures at the institution's permanent site. According to her, there are many investors who are partnering with the institution in the development of the projects on the 11,000 hectares of land. Mandate Secretary on Health Services and Environment Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration says new hospitals are underway in the territory to improve access to quality health care. Dr. Ade Dolapo Fashaw disclosed this in Abuja during the capacity building training for health managers in the FCT, adding that more than 6 to 7 ward standard hospitals have opened in territory, adding that additional ones would be constructed to bridge the access gap. She said that the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike-led FCTA was already working on improving human resource for health, stressing that the amount that has gone to the health sector in 2025 was unprecedented. The Mandate Secretary added that a reasonable budgetary allocation had been earmarked for human resource, adding that for the first time, FCT doctors were paid uniform allowance. Fashawa noted that the country was grappling with so many demands across all sectors but limited resources to address the needs, particularly the health sector needs, saying the road projects being executed and inaugurated in the capital city and across the area councils were significantly improving access to health facilities. She commended all the doctors and other health workers working in FCT secondary facilities for the cordial working relationship with the FCT administration. She explained that that primary health care centers were under the purview of area councils, adding that although they went on strike, they still provide essential services. Defense Headquarters has revealed that troops arrested 2 members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers for allegedly transporting arms and military uniforms meant for terrorists in Borno State. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcos Kangie, disclosed this on Thursday in Abuja while briefing journalists on the military's ongoing operations across the country. He noted that the suspects identified as Isa Abdullahi and Abdullahi Mohammed were apprehended in Liya Biu local government area of Borno State while taking delivery of a rail bill from a truck driver in line with prior intelligence received by security forces. Kange said troops also arrested another terrorist logistics supplier known as Shuaibu Bulama, 65 years old, at Damasak Motor Park in Yobe State on 13 July 2025. Meanwhile, in the southeast, Kange said troops arrested a tax collector for the indigenous people of Biafra and its armed wing, the Eastern Security Network in Ihiala, local government area of Anambra State. He said the suspect was allegedly commissioned by the separatist group to collect levies from local residents. Kange said 1.5 million naira was recovered from the arrested tax agent. Governor of Plateau State Caleb Mutfwang has asked security agencies to unmask perpetrators of the recent attack in Bindi in Tahos village, Riyom local government area of the state. In a heart-wrenching and deeply emotional moment, as the governor visited the scene of a brutal and genocidal attack carried out by suspected Fulani militia, Mutfwang, who listened to disturbing eyewitnesses' accounts from survivors, learned that the armed assailants invaded the community in large numbers and military operations stationed 200 meters away could not intervene successfully to prevent the carnage, with no arrest made in the aftermath. The heinous attack, which occurred in the early morning hours of Tuesday, July 15, 2025, claimed more than 27 innocent lives, left many others injured, and resulted in the destruction of homes, including a church. Food items belonging to villagers were also looted by the attackers, compounding the tragedy. Addressing the traumatized residents, Muftiwang condemned the killings in strong terms and assured the people that his administration would not abandon them in their time of grief. He pledged a comprehensive review of the state's security architecture to ensure those charged with the protection of lives and property discharge their responsibilities without compromise. Muftiwang acknowledged the efforts of gallant soldiers who have stood firm in defense of Plateau communities, but noted that some bad elements within the security agencies must be identified and removed for peace to reign. He urged the affected communities to find solace in God, assuring that the government would organize a dignified burial for those killed and take steps to support those who lost their homes. Zamfara State Governor Dawuda Lawal has launched a conditional cash transfer program benefiting 8,225 secondary school girls across the state's 14 local government areas. The official rollout ceremony held on Wednesday in Gusau, the state capital, was held under the state's partnership with the Akre Saul and Ajay projects. This was disclosed in the Wednesday statement by the governor's spokesperson, Sulaiman Idris, who said the beneficiaries were drawn from the most vulnerable and economically disadvantaged households. According to him, each girl is to receive 40,000 naira to support her education, with additional tranches of 10,000 naira each for the second and third terms, bringing a total of 60,000 naira per academic session. Speaking at the event, Lawal said the initiative aligns with his administration's broader agenda focused on education, social protection, and inclusive development. Beyond the education-focused grants, the governor also flagged up the disbursement of the community revolving fund under the Akre Saul project to 500 beneficiaries in Gusau, Bugundu, and Kaura Namoda. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Federal government has suspended its recruitment process into its paramilitary agencies such as the Nigeria Immigration Service, Federal Fire Service, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and Nigerian Correctional Service. In a statement issued on Thursday, the board's secretary, retired Major General Abdul Malik Jubril, explained that the temporary suspension aims to enhance the efficiency of the recruitment portal, adding that the application portal will be reopened on Monday, July 21, 2025. The board secretary explained that the suspension would help ensure the system can efficiently handle the high volume of applications and allow for a smooth, transparent, and fair recruitment process. The paramilitary agencies with available vacancies include the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Correctional Service, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and the Federal Fire Service. The federal government has dismissed recent allegations by the Turkish government suggesting that members of the Fethullah terrorist organization are operating within Nigeria. Speaking on Wednesday, the coordinator of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamu Alaka, reassured Nigerians that there is no evidence of any terrorist organization in the country. He urged the public to remain calm and avoid unnecessary panic. This comes on the heels of a warning by the Turkish government that members of a terrorist group known as Fethullah Terrorist Organization operate in Nigeria as well as in other countries around the world. Poroy had made the comments on Tuesday during a dinner hosted by the Turkish embassy in Abuja to commemorate Turkey's Democracy and National Unity Day, an annual event marking the failed July 15, 2016 coup attempt. In his address, the Turkish envoy alleged that FETÖ, a group Ankara accuses of orchestrating the 2016 coup, continues to operate under the guise of humanitarian work with an active presence in Nigeria through educational and healthcare institutions. Nigerian Air Force has its own viral message circulating across social media platforms, claiming that it has commenced recruitment for the 2025/2026 Basic Military Training Course and Direct Short Service Commission. Describing it as false and misleading, a statement on Thursday by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodabe. The Air Force cautioned the public to disregard the messages, noting that no recruitment exercise is currently ongoing. Ejodabe stated that the Nigerian Air Force recruitment process is free, transparent, and strictly merit-based, stressing that the force does not charge applicants at any stage, nor does it engage third-party agents or middlemen. He assured that any genuine recruitment exercise will be widely publicized via credible national newspapers, the Nigerian Air Force's official website, and its verified social media channels. Nigeria Labour Congress has raised concerns over the country's poor global standing on workers' rights, revealing that Nigeria has once again been ranked among the 10 worst nations in the world for labor rights violations. The NLC described the ranking as a national embarrassment and called on employers to lead the charge in reversing the trend. The president of the NLC, Joe Ajero, made this known during the 68th annual general meeting of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association held in Lagos on Wednesday. Represented by the Deputy Speaker of the NLC and immediate past President General of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Adewale Adeyanju, Ajero said the latest 2025 ITUC Global Rights Index placed Nigeria among the worst violators of workers' rights globally. Ajero urged NECA to lead by example in promoting respect for labor laws and upholding the principles of collective bargaining. He further called for deeper collaboration between employers and organized labor in implementing resolutions reached at the recent 113th International Labour Conference in Geneva. According to him, such collaboration is essential in regulating the fast-growing platform economy and improving workplace safety. The Labour leader commended NECA's Director General, Mr. Adewale Smart Oyeyunde, for his openness to dialogue, noting that cooperation between both sides remains crucial to achieving industrial peace. Veteran journalist Chief Dele Momodu has officially resigned from the People's Democratic Party, citing what he described as the party's takeover by anti-democratic forces. In a letter dated July 17, 2025, addressed to the PDP Ward 4 chairman in Iheve, or One East local government area of Edo State, Momodu announced his immediate departure from the party. He added that the party has undeniably been seized by anti-democratic elements, both from within and without, in broad daylight. Chief Momodu, a former presidential aspirant under the PDP banner and publisher of Ovation International, expressed gratitude to the world-level party leadership for their unwavering support throughout the years. His defection to the ADC signifies a significant shift in Edo State's political landscape and contributes momentum to the ongoing realignment preceding the 2027 general elections. Momodu had joined the PDP in 2021 and actively engaged in national debate and party affairs. His departure follows a series of resignations by notable figures disenchanted with international party dynamics. And now to some business news. Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Abuja kicked off a 2-day performance review session with companies currently holding gas distribution licenses. A statement by the operator said the review is held in compliance with the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act. The PIA mandates the regulator review to ensure and monitor performance parameters of the industry and the quality of service provided by licensed operators. According to NMDPRA, the review focused on regulatory compliance, operational efficiency, and health, safety, environment, and compliance standards of the licensed gas distribution activities. The development comes as Nigeria grapples with low power generation, and the federal government is looking to ramp up gas production and usage in the country. President of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, recently said there was no justification for Nigeria's low power generation output, arguing that if its conglomerate alone can produce over 1,500 megawatts for internal use, the country should be generating far more. Dangote made the remarks during a recent tour of the Dangote refinery in Lagos, where he highlighted the company's expanding energy footprint and called for deeper private sector involvement in power generation. According to him, Nigeria should not be grappling with 4,500 to 5,000 megawatts of electricity. Instead, it should generate up to 60,000 megawatts. Nigeria currently generates about 5,000 megawatts of electricity for its over 200 million populations. Dangote described what had been achieved at the refinery as proof that large-scale industrial projects were possible in Nigeria, including in the power sector. Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency has shut down Shell Plugs and TMDK terminals, both located in the Ijegun-Egba area of Lagos for violating the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code. According to a statement on Thursday by the head of public relations at NIMASA, Osage Edward, the move was part of the agency's role as a designated authority for implementing the ISPS code in Nigeria. The ISPS code, an amendment to the SOLAS Convention, was developed by the International Maritime Organization to enhance maritime and port security, particularly for facilities engaged in international trade. Edward explained that the enforcement action follows persistent non-compliance by the facilities with the provisions of the ISPS code. Despite several formal warnings, he added that the facilities will be reopened once all compliance requirements are satisfactorily met. Moberiola acknowledged their important role in the service delivery and trade facilitation. The NIMASA boss stressed that the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, is committed to enhancing sustainable trade facilitation for the maritime sector in a safe and conducive environment. Lagos State government and other stakeholders have agreed on an enforcement fee of 10,000 naira for electronic call-up for trucks on the Lekki-Epe corridor. The outcome of the meeting held at the Dangote Oil Refining Limited was communicated in a communique obtained by the News Agency of Nigeria on Thursday in Lagos. The communique was signed by Commissioner Ministry of Transportation, Lagos State Government, Mr. Sheun Oshiyemi, President, Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Worker, Mr. Williams Akwacha, President, Nigeria Association of Road Transport Owners, Alhaji Yusuf Othman, President, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Alhaji Hamed Fashola. The stakeholders meeting on the enforcement of e-call-up for the Lekki-Epe corridor convened at the instance of the Lagos State Government was facilitated by Dangote Industries Limited. According to the communique, the enforcement of the e-call-up for the Lekki-Epe corridor will begin on August 1, 2025. The following pre-requirements were established to ensure a smooth transition before the enforcement date. All trucks are required to begin onboarding before August 1. The communique noted that e-call-up was deemed essential to prevent recurrence of the Apapa experience, especially in light of the concerns raised by the Lekki residents association regarding the rising number of accidents caused by articulated trucks. Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise has pushed for efficient activation of Nigeria's trade policy instruments to bring down imported input costs and further reduce inflation. The Chief Executive Officer of CPPE, Muda Yusuf, made this call on Wednesday in his reaction to Nigeria's June inflation figure. 18 reports that the country's headline inflation dropped to 22.22% in June from 22.97% in May. Meanwhile, food inflation grew to 21.97% in June from 21.14% in May, and core inflation similarly increased from 22.28% in May to 22.76% in June. Reacting, Yusuf said, despite the drop in headline inflation, the concerns remain as the month-on-month figures continue to reflect persistent pressures on prices. According to him, logistics costs, insecurity, foreign exchange costs, seasonality of crop production systems, and cost of imports continue to be the major drivers of inflation in the economy. You're still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Up next is International Tidbits. France on Thursday formally handed back its last two military bases in Senegal, leaving Paris with no permanent camps in either West or Central Africa. Ending the French Army's 65 years in Senegal, the pullout comes after similar withdrawals across the continent, with former colonies increasingly turning their backs on their former ruler. The French withdrawal comes as the Sahel region faces a growing jihadist conflict across Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger that is threatening Gulf of Guinea nations to the south. A recent string of attacks this month in Mali included an assault on a town on the border with Senegal. France returned Camp Gail, its largest base in the West African country, and its airfield at Dakar Airport in the ceremony attended by top French and Senegalese officials, including Senegalese Chief of Staff General Mbaye Cissé and General Pascal Ayani, the head of the French forces in Africa. Around 350 French soldiers, primarily tasked with conducting joint operations with the Senegalese army, are now leaving, marking the end of a 3-month departure process that began in March. After storming to victory in 2024 elections, promising radical change, Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye demanded France withdraw troops from the country by 2025. Unlike the leaders of other former colonies such as Junta-run Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, however, Faye has insisted that Senegal will keep working with Paris. Ghana's anti-graft agency on Thursday said it has charged the former head of the petroleum regulator and 6 others over $28 million corruption and money laundering scheme. This is the latest move under President John Mahama's sweeping campaign launched in early 2025 to fight graft and retrieve misappropriated state funds. The Office of the Special Prosecutor said it had brought 25 charges against Mustafa Abdul Hamid, the former head of the National Petroleum Authority, as well as 6 other individuals and 3 companies. The charges, which include extortion by a public officer and money laundering, are linked to what the agency described as a spoiling corruption scheme initiated by Abdul Hamid between 2022 and December 2024. Abdul Hamid, who is accused of receiving $2.3 million directly and benefiting from a wider $28 million extortion scheme, denied any wrongdoing. The special prosecutor named Jacob Kwamina Amwa, a former coordinator of the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, and NPA staff member Wendy Newman as the key actors of the alleged operation. The 2 are accused of collecting funds unlawfully from oil marketing companies and transporters and laundering the proceeds through shell companies. British government said Thursday it plans to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in general elections, a landmark change giving the UK one of the lowest voting ages worldwide. It follows a pledge from the ruling Labour Party to make the shift ahead of winning power last year and is among several planned changes to the democratic system, which some argue is in crisis due to low turnout, among other issues. The voting age change is likely to prove contentious, with critics previously arguing that it is self-serving as newly enfranchised teenagers are seen as more likely to support the centre-left Labour Party. The government will have to bring legislation before Parliament, where it has a comfortable majority to make the changes. Only a small number of countries allow 16-year-olds to vote in national elections, according to online databases. They include Austria, the first EU country to lower the voting age to 16 when it made the shift in 2007, as well as Argentina, Brazil, Ecuador and Cuba. Labour ministers in the United Kingdom insist the change is intended to modernize their democracy and boost turnout, while aligning general elections with the existing voting age for elections for the devolved regional parliaments in Scotland and Wales. Other planned changes include introducing automated voter registration, which is already used in Australia and Canada, and making UK-issued bank cards an accepted form of ID at polling stations. It follows changes to the electoral law introduced by the previous Conservative government, which required voters to show a photo ID, which the Electoral Commission found led to around 750,000 people not voting in last year's elections. U.S. Senate has approved the White House's request to cancel $9.4 billion in federal spending on foreign aid and the NPR and BPS broadcasters. The late Wednesday vote of 51 to 48 sent the bill to the House of Representatives, which is expected to give its final approval by July 18. If passed, the draft law would go to President Donald Trump for his signature. In early June, House Speaker Mike Johnson announced that the White House had sent a request to Congress to cancel $9.4 billion in previously approved spending. It was identified as wasteful by the Department of Government Efficiency. In early May, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to cut off government funding for NPR and PBS for biased reporting of news. On May 27, NPR and a number of Colorado radio stations sued the Trump administration over loss of funding, accusing it of trying to curtail press freedom. Former U.S. President Barack Obama and wife Michelle have addressed the rumors surrounding their marriage. In a recent podcast, the couple jokingly dismissed speculation about their divorce. Michelle Obama remarks that whenever they are not together, people assume they are getting a divorce. Barack Obama chimed in, saying he's often aware of these rumors until someone mentions them to him. Michelle credited Barack Obama for making her a better person. Here now is ATN Sports News. Super Falcons midfielder Tony Payne has said she will forever be happy with the decision to switch allegiance from the United States of America to Nigeria. Payne was born in Birmingham, Alabama to Nigerian parents. The 30-year-old represented the USA from under 17 to under 23 level, but later opted to play for Nigeria at full international level. The former Ajax player declared her intentions to switch international career to Nigeria in 2019. Payne made her debut for the 9-time African champions 2 years later. She has since represented Nigeria at 4 international competitions, including the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, FIFA Women's World Cup, and Olympic Games. The player said she has no regrets choosing Nigeria over the USA. Young Barcelona star Lamine Yamal inherited the club's number 10 shirt previously worn by all-time great Lionel Messi on Wednesday. Messi made his path and I will make mine, Yamal told the reporters at an event at the club's shop at the Spotify Camp Nou Stadium. The 18-year-old winger, often compared to the Argentine superstar who also came through the club's La Masia Youth Academy, helped the Catalan Giants win the domestic treble last season. He signed a new contract with Barcelona until 2031 in May, becoming one of the best paid players at the club. Yamal has scored 25 goals for the club in over 100 appearances, making his debut in 2023 at the age of 15, wearing the number 41 shirt. After his season wearing the 27, last summer Yamal followed in Messi's footsteps by taking the number 19, which the Argentine won at the club between 2005 and 2008. Ansu Fati inherited Messi's number 10 shirt in 2021 when now Inter Miami player left Barca for Paris Saint-Germain. Beset by a series of injuries, Fati was unable to fulfill his potential at Barca and signed on loan for Monaco earlier in July. Other star names including Diego Maradona, Ronaldinho and Rivaldo have won the Barcelona number 10 shirts in the past. And now, entertainment news. Grammy-nominated singer Davido has earned a silver certification in the United Kingdom for his 4th studio album, Timeless. The album has broken multiple streaming records on platforms like Spotify Nigeria, Audiomack, Boomplay, and YouTube. The album, released on March 31, 2023, featured 17 tracks that explore diverse musical styles such as Afrobeats, dancehall, reggae, conto, highlife, and Afropop, with notable collaborations with artists like Ashake, Skepta, Dexter Daps, Five, Caveman, and Angelique Kidjo. Timeless has been a chart topper. The album's success extends beyond its commercial performance, earning Davido a Grammy nomination for Best Global Album and a Headies nomination for Song of the Year. The hit singles Unavailable and Feel also received Grammy nominations for Best African Song Performance and Best Global Song Performance, respectively. Following the album's release, Davido embarks on the Timeless Tour, a global concert tour promoting the album with stops in major cities like Washington, D.C., Toronto, New York, and London. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers Police confirm arrest of suspected ritual killer. INEC Police strengthen ties for credible elections in Sokoto. The federal government suspends recruitment into paramilitary agencies. NMDPRA begins review of gas license holders. France completes with military withdrawal from Senegal. Yamal to wear iconic Barcelona number 10 shirts. And Davido's Timeless album earns silver certification in UK. I am Favor Chikwesiri Michael. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms, on Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, and on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. And don't forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching, and do have a pleasant night rest.